Dr. Jessica Ashe here live with Sherry Williamson, the author of a children's book series called The Woodland Elves. Thank you for being with us here today, Sherry.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I'm just on top of the world. Thank you very much for including me.
So yes, you're welcome. So tell me, what was the motivation to write this series of books?
You know, I taught for 40 years and retired, and I retired for about an hour and a half. And I discovered that was not a good fit for me. Retirement was absolutely not a good fit. So what am I going to do with the next phase of my life? So I decided to follow the second dream of my life, which was to write a children's book series. And lo and behold, it went to 92 countries and all 7 continents in 7 years. So it just snowballed. And so even at a young age of 75, we are just rolling right along. So you can follow your dream at any age.
That's wonderful. So I understand that the earlier books have CDs that go with them?
Yes, we did. And my music partner is Russ Kendall. And by golly, neither one of us can read a note of music. So I always tell kids, you know what? Doesn't matter. You do whatever you feel you can do. Just trust your instincts and go for it. Don't let anybody tell you can't do something.
So can you tell me about the elf village that is your backyard and why you created that?
This sort of evolved. What started off as music and a book series turned into much more. And so all of a sudden we realized that people everywhere were really intrigued by the Woodland Elves. And so we built a 1/4-mile adventure trail in the woods, in the middle of the woods in our backyard. And it happened to have maybe 90 some elf items that, of course, the elves have placed their houses and whatnot. And kids come by busloads, scout groups, church groups, school groups, families. They come over and we work with them on the importance of imagination and creativity. And it's been absolutely. And then we also have, on top of the adventure trail, we also have an enchanted village.
Oh.
And the enchanted village is a place where I always tell the kids to go in and don't say a word. I want you to see with your eyes, your ears, your heart, and pretend like you're the only human in a world of elves. And they come out like this.
So exciting.
They're believers. They come out believing. We love it.
And she has a series of videos on actual elf sightings on the news station, WELF.
WELF,
WELF.
Channel 7. You've got it.
And so this trail also has an elf TV.
Oh, it does. It has an elf TV, and it's open, you know, maybe late spring to early fall. We just shut it down last weekend.
Oh.
We just shut it down because the weather is unpredictable now.
Right.
And kids have to be able to stay outside for 2.5 hours.
And so, like, just the specifics of the TV, the kids get behind the TV and they're on WELF.
And so they each have their own microphone that says WELF, Channel 7. And they get to use that creativity and imagination and let's share what we saw. And they actually feel like they're truly on a TV program because it's a pretty big thing. And so all ages and their parents and grandparents get behind there and they're interviewing and they're sharing and they're telling what they saw out on the trail. I love it because the whole point is to encourage creativity and use your imagination.
And so I should note that Sherry just presented at the Alameda International Scientific Research Center. It was virtual this year. She presented on creativity. And so one of my questions is, what role did your grandchildren play in all of this?
Our grandchildren actually started this whole thing rolling because our grandchildren, we live in Ohio and they live in Florida and Atlanta, Georgia. And so when they were very little, I kept pouting because why would they ever want to come to Marion, Ohio? What do we have there? We don't have mountains. We don't have lakes. We don't have oceans. What do we have that we don't live right across from Disney? And so I talked my husband into having a 3-floor treehouse built. because what they have in their backyards is palm trees, but we are filled with beautiful Ohio trees, just gorgeous maples and oaks and everything else. And so it was easy to build this 3-floor treehouse around the trunk of this huge tree. And so it just goes up, and from the top floor, from the crow's nest, you can see over the house. Yeah. So when we would fly them up to Ohio one at a time, and when they would come up, they would always say, "We see elves. We see elves." They would look down, "Gigi, we see elves down there." And amazingly enough, they started coming when they were 5 years old. And the elves, their own personal elf, left them notes every single day in the treehouse and a little surprise. And they built elf houses. They built a whole elf village.
Really?
They built their own, which still stands outside so that everybody can see, look what you can do. So there are probably, I don't know, a dozen houses or so in the elf village that they built. So it has turned into a real creative family project.
And I understand that each book is dedicated to one child.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
So we have 5 grandchildren, and my goal was to write one book for each grandchild, and that they got to have a little input in that book. So the last one just happened to be Fantasy in the Forest. And that was our youngest grandson. And guess what? His favorite sport is baseball. And so he wanted to have a baseball chapter written. And so he got to help me with, and I don't know if you can see that those are all elves, but they are. So he got to help me with this particular chapter because that was his passion, baseball. And so everybody, I think part of the reason this whole series has become so popular around the world, it's kind of an old-fashioned series. It's very much got the old-fashioned values. And so there are lessons. It's a very positive book, but it's filled with all good feelings. And every chapter has a message. Almost every page has a message. And the last 2 books, we got really creative, and we put a QR code on every single page. So you can, Russ and I did the music, and you can actually hear me reading all.
If you scan the QR code.
Yeah, you just scan it. And you can hear the author reading the book, and you can hear some of our music.
And that's really exciting, Sherry. And it's worth noting that the art in these books is so amazing. Yeah. This little video just doesn't do justice. Can you tell me about the artist?
Our artists, I'm huge on teamwork. And we have 3 main people involved in the creation of these books and the whole project. I'm the author. Jay Johnston is the illustrator. Russ Kendall is the musician and a creative director. But Jay Johnston graduated from Columbus School of Art with a major in illustration. And so when I asked him if he would consider, he said, I've been waiting for years. Nobody's ever asked me. That was my major.
Wow.
So
that's wonderful.
I can't even describe, he focuses on detail. And so the detail.
Yeah, the detail in these is
the
amazing.
detail is incredible. I don't know if you can go to the double page one in that book. Yeah, Fantasy, or that one. Yeah, the double page illustration, because that's what he's famous for. And
how big are they? How big are these paintings?
Well, they're big. Okay.
When you say big, how big?
Okay.
Are they 3 feet across or 10 feet across?
You know what? And that's, I apologize. That's not the one I was actually thinking. That is one of the double page ones. But the real one is this one.
Oh, wow.
The detail on this one is great. And I think, the detail is amazing. And that's what he's famous for. He started off doing he does beautiful Ohio State paintings and sports paintings. And they sell all over California, all the way east. Everybody knows Jay Johnston for his detail work. But So I was going to say there are 3 of us main people, but we actually have 45 people on the team. So everybody does their part. I just sort of believe you do what you do best and hire somebody else to do what they do best. And so we have a publicist in North Carolina, print page formatter in Arizona, editor in Texas, people that do the music, they're in New Jersey, printers are in Minnesota. And you ask how big his paintings were. His paintings are, the double page ones are probably this long.
So 6 or...
Yeah. And the other ones are, the single page ones are probably like that. But I have to take them to an oversized
art
scanner. And there are only 2 in the state of Ohio. And so he scans all of them and shrinks them down to book size so that we can use them. And so he's one of our team members too.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So what's next for the Woodland Elves?
Well, I think you could be sitting to what's next for the Woodland Elves. I feel very comfortable saying I do believe Dr. Ashe might be she might be our newest team member.
A new partnership.
Yeah. So we have our wheels are spinning. And we've already talked about the possibility of a new book, but we're also talking about
a children's channel on Mindset News.
Yeah. So we have, let's just say, you can follow your dream at any age. And we just keep rolling and rolling with new ideas and new thoughts. And I really need to live to be about 125 to get it all done. So,
well, I'll be here with you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so thank you for being here with us today.
It's great. It's great. It's absolutely wonderful. We are soul sisters. I could be the next generation up, but we are soul sisters. I'm here to tell you.
And when possible, we'll post a link down below so you can buy her books if you'd like.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Have a nice day.
I thank you. You too.